These are times umpires ruin the MLB.
Imagine being one pitch away from winning a game, and then watching the umpire hand it over to the other team. You'd expect Major League Baseball to get the basics right? But some calls are so bad, they don't just ruin plays, they change outcomes. And in some cases, entire seasons. Stay tuned, because these calls will leave you shaking your head. Let's start with a moment that left fans stunned and players fuming.
This is it. Oh, come on, Lance.
1. The check swing. That wasn't. It was a clear strike 3. Everyone in the stadium saw it. The batter went around. There was no doubt. But somehow the umpire said, "No swing." And that one call flipped everything. Instead of ending the inning, it gave the batter new life. What happened next? He smacked a 3-run homer. Just like that, the game was lost. Not by the players, but by the man behind the plate. This wasn't a borderline decision. It was a flat-out miss, and it handed the win to the wrong team. Now you might think that's rare. But hold on, it gets even wilder.
Yeah. Out of any spot on the entire field, the umpire really stood right in front.
2. The human roadblock at second base. Picture this. A runner bolts for second base on a crucial play. He's flying down the line, laser-focused on beating the throw. But right in the middle of his path, the umpire. Yep, the umpire is just standing there. The runner slams into him, loses momentum, and gets thrown out. Game over. That wasn't player error or bad coaching. That was an official blocking the play. It's hard to even understand how this wasn't fixed instantly. But no reversal, no apology. Just another game decided by someone who shouldn't have been in the way. Still not convinced? Let's talk about one of the best eyes in the game being robbed blind.
And extend the outing, as that is called a strike. Soto knows probably was off.
3. Juan Soto's phantom strikeout. Juan Soto isn't just a good hitter. He's known for his elite strike zone discipline. So when he's rung up on 3 pitches, all clearly out of the zone, something's off. He didn't even get a single strike, and yet he was sent back to the dugout. All 3 pitches missed. The catcher barely had to move to frame them because they were nowhere close. But the umpire? Strike 1, strike 2, strike 3. Game momentum gone. And this isn't just about one batter. It's about how calls like this can deflate a team, change a rally, and mess with a player's season stats. Just think about how much effort goes into every pitch, every swing, every base stolen, and how quickly it can all be undone by a blown call. These aren't tiny errors. These are game-changing, sometimes season-shaping mistakes. And the worst part? There's no accountability. No redo. Just a bad memory in the highlight reels. So, what do you think? Should there be more tech involved? Or are these mistakes just part of the game? Let us know in the comments, and stick around because in the next part, we'll talk about a blown home run call, an infuriating World Series mistake, and the tragic story of a perfect game stolen in the final inning. You won't want to miss what's coming next. And just when you thought the worst was over, things somehow get even more unbelievable. Because when a player flat out breaks the rules in front of everyone and still gets away with it, you're no longer watching a game. You're watching chaos in pinstripes. 4. Aaron Judge's magic trick, interference that vanished. It was a textbook double play. Ball hit, fielder flips, the runner's toast, or should have been. But instead, Aaron Judge somehow reaches his hand into the throw, deflects the ball mid-air, and still, no interference is called. None. The umpires just shrug it off, as if he didn't touch the throw with his hand. That's not a hustle. That's not savvy. That's flat-out illegal. MLB rules are clear. Any runner who interferes with a throw should be called out. Instead, the Yankees keep the inning alive and end up taking the win. Imagine being the opposing team, watching a play get sabotaged right in front of your face, and there's nothing you can do about it. If this happened in Little League, it'd be corrected in seconds. But in the big leagues, not. And if you think that's frustrating, wait till you hear what happened with a baseball that left the park.
Hit well, left center field, off the top of the wall.
5. The home run. That somehow wasn't. This one will hurt, especially if you're an A's fan. The batter smashes a ball deep to right field. It clears the wall. Even the broadcasters call it a home run in real time. Fans cheer, players round the bases. But somehow the umpires rule it a double. And here's the kicker. They review the play. They look at the footage and still don't overturn it. What more do you need? It's there on video. The ball hits above the line. It's gone. But the team only gets 2 bases instead of 4, and wouldn't you know it, they lose the game by 1 run. That's the kind of mistake that haunts a team. Not because they played poorly, but because the system failed them. A home run erased. Not by defense, not by pitching, but by a bad headset review in New York. And yet, nothing compares to a call so bad, it might have changed the course of baseball history.
Smith is going, and a hit to left by Gant. And Lonnie's trying. They're going to get him perhaps.
6. Ron Gant and the World Series nightmare. Let's go back to 1991, the World Series, Game 2. Tensions high, the crowd's electric. Ron Gant smacks a single, rounds first, and tries to dive back before getting picked off. But here's the thing, he made it. He beat the tag. But the fielder pulled him off the base. Pulled, not pushed, not knocked, grabbed and yanked. Gant's momentum had stopped. He was safe, period. But the umpire ruled him out. Just like that, a Braves rally was crushed. And the Twins went on to win that game, and eventually the series. One bad call and a championship dream got derailed. The craziest part? You can see it in every replay. It's obvious. And yet, decades later, it's just another chapter in the book of what could have been for Atlanta fans. These aren't minor moments. These are turning points. Single decisions that change the course of games, seasons, or even careers. And every time they happen, it chips away at the trust fans have in the system. Because here's the truth. Baseball is a game of inches. Every call matters. Every base counts. And when umpires get it wrong, especially on the biggest stages, it's more than just a mistake. It's a betrayal of the game itself. So now I've got to ask, should umpires be held more accountable? Or is human error just part of the sport? In the final part, we're diving into one of the most heartbreaking endings to a game you'll ever hear. A pitcher is just 1 out away from a perfect game, only to have it stolen by a single unforgivable call. Trust me, you don't want to miss that. By now, we've seen how a single call can flip an entire game. But sometimes it goes even further, turning a moment of heartbreak into something that lives on forever.
Herrera will cut it off. Galarraga covers. He's out. No, he's safe.
7. Bobblehead of a bad call, when infamy becomes merchandise. Remember that Ron Gant moment from the 1991 World Series? The one where he was safe but still called out because the fielder physically pulled him off the bag? Yeah, that moment. Well, baseball didn't just let that call live on in replays or angry barroom debates. They turned it into a bobblehead. Seriously. The Minnesota Twins released a commemorative bobblehead featuring the fielder, Kent Herbeck, standing over Gant in mid-play, capturing that infamous scene in all its awkward glory. And what message did it send? Those bad calls can become souvenirs. For Braves fans, it was salt in the wound. For Twins fans, it became a collector's item. But for the rest of us, it was proof that even the worst calls can get baked into the myth of the game. Not corrected, Not acknowledged, just packaged, sold, and celebrated. It's funny on the surface, until you remember it helped decide a World Series. Still, that bobblehead wasn't the most painful reminder of a blown call, because there's one game, one pitch, one dream that was shattered in real time, and this time, even the umpire couldn't pretend it didn't happen. 8. The perfect game. That wasn't Armando Galarraga's heartbreak. June 2, 2010. Detroit Tigers pitcher Armando Galarraga is on the mound. He's done the impossible. 26 up, 26 down. 1 out away from a perfect game. It's one of the rarest feats in all of baseball. Only 27 batters faced. No hits, no walks, no errors. Just one more to go. The batter hits a soft grounder to first. The throw comes in. The runner's out by a step. Everyone sees it. Galarraga smiles, ready to celebrate. Except, the umpire calls him safe. Safe. On what should have been the final out of a perfect game. The stadium goes quiet. The Tigers' dugout is stunned. And Galarraga, he doesn't scream. He doesn't argue. He just smiles. The kind of smile that says, "Did that just happen?" The umpire, Jim Joyce, immediately realizes the mistake. He reviews the footage, sees how wrong the call was, and owns up to it. He breaks down in tears. He apologizes, face to face. And Galarraga, in one of the classiest moves in baseball history, forgives him. No drama, no tantrum, just grace. But no matter how you spin it, the damage was done. Galarraga was robbed of baseball immortality. The game went into the books as a one-hitter, and fans around the world were left wondering, why didn't MLB overturn it? Why not make it right? They could have made an exception. They could have stepped in, but they didn't. And that's the moment that truly stings. Not the bad call, but the refusal to correct it. Some say it made the story even more legendary. That Galarraga's sportsmanship was worth more than a perfect stat line. But honestly, he should have had both. Because sometimes it's not just about what's fair, it's about doing what's right. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown of MLB's wildest blown calls, hit that like button and subscribe for more. Got a favorite bad call we missed? Drop it in the comments. We're all ears. Baseball's full of drama, but sometimes the real action happens off the scoreboard.